If Bell was Iron Man, redo part 1 or 2. I had to look up if I did part 1 or 2. So if you guys think I did part 1, this will be part 1. If I did part 2, then I don't know, do something with it. But anyway, let's get into it. It was a normal day. A normal day in Dachima. I can't remember the city name, but I do remember it's called Rinhu or something. You see, when Bell Cornell was little, he had a certain type of dream, or more precisely, he had memories which didn't belong to him. Even though that he just knows that they belong to him, but he doesn't know why. As soon as Bell Cornell's grandpa went missing or he got himself killed, which he faked his own death, this triggered something in Bell. And this is like before anything ever started. The very beginning. As Bell begins to close his eyes and begins crying on the couch where his grandpa always sat and loved. Next thing he knew, when he opened his eyes, he was just in a black void. He was looking around. He says hello as it echoes across this dark, black void area. And when he turns around, he hears someone so, do you want to be a hero? As Bell Cornell turns around, he just sees a man. A man wearing a fancy suit. He looks taller and pretty handsome. And the position and his stats, or his aura, it just makes you feel like comfort. But at the same time, it also feels like he's from somewhere else. Like, he doesn't need magic or any type of skill. As Bell Cornell's like, who are you? And the man simply replied, well, kid, my name's Tony Stark. As Bell's like, Tony? As Stark's like, yeah. Bell, I have to tell you something. As Cornell's really what do you have to tell me? Well, I'm a hero, Bell. And Bell's like, a hero? What kind of magic do you use? Or better yet, what's your skill? As Tony Stark puts his hand out and stops him right there, and Tony Stark says, I don't have a skill, nor do I use magic. As Bell's face was confused, what, he doesn't use magic? Then how can he be a hero if he doesn't have any magic? Or a skill? As Tony Stark says, listen, kid, I'm a hero who just relies on his genius, but I build equipment to help people. I used to build weapons, and next thing you know, the weapon that I made stabbed me in my heart. As Tony Stark speaking is explaining the whole history about how he was an Avenger, and how Tony Stark chose him to be the next Iron Man. And the reason was that I'm God, and this is what if so. I'm gonna say this. Tony, flashback of the Tony, Tony, listen, this is me. I can't send you to heaven or hell. And Tony's straight wait, what? As as I was like, yeah, but I can't send you up to heaven or hell because you're too goddamn smart. Your knowledge keeps expanding, and well, I need you to find a candidate for you to live on your legacy. As Tony's like, well, my daughter Pepper and Potts will take care around my legacy. As I'm like, true, I see their future. It is great, but at the same time, I need you to teach a person, pass your knowledge and your intelligence onto them. As Tony's like, okay. As I begin like saying like, well, I need to reincarnate you, or more precise, reincarnate you and erase your memories. But at the certain time when you lose a grandpa, you will remember everything. And we now cut back to the present. As Bill's like, so I'm your reincarnation? As Tony's like, not exactly. As Bill's confused, like, what do you mean by that? Well, you are my reincarnation, but you won't have any of my personalities. You will have some of my traits, some of my, I don't know, good looks, but main fun fact is that you be insanely smart. And, his fucking intelligence, I'm gonna say his intelligence is unknown. Why? Because it just makes it interesting. As he begins, like, saying, like, so, I'm. As Tony Stark says, yes. As Tony Stark says, well, I'm gonna be, like, teaching you all my knowledge and. All my knowledge and all my, traits. As Bill's like, well, how long is it gonna take? As Tony puts his hands together and just says, about 2 years. And Bill's like, 2 years? But as Tony Stark's like, wait, kid, wait. As Bill's was about to freak out, as Tony Stark begins saying like, 2 years in here, but out there in the real world, it's just 2 days. As Bill's like, well, how will I eat and sleep? As Tony's like, oh, well, I will be kind of in control of your body, so you'll be staying in your grandpa's like old house for like 2 days. So, as Bill's like, okay. 2 days later, as Tony's like, well, there's nothing else I can teach you, kid. As Bell Cornell is now like so fucking intelligent now. As Tony begins fading, just says, it's time. As he looks at his watch, I just pop up a message in his watch like, well, here you go, Tony. As Tony begins merging, or his personalities and everything begin merging together, everything that Bell felt like like Tony Stark's experience, his failures, his achievements, his success, everything merged into Bell, combining that with Bell's personality. Bell will still be a clumsy, not that really clumsy, like not like dumbfounded, like he doesn't know he's been isekai'd, and the first thing when they merge together and Bell's like, I swear this is an isekai, I'm gonna be pissed. Because he watches them, he likes them, but he doesn't understand like the logic of why would people make that. He understands why they would make that, but why would they give the character this OP power? As Bell, we now go to Bell in the church. Not the church, just for the next few days on top of the mountain. Bell is scavenging for materials. And a week later, he manages to build a Mark 1 prototype. He does test it out, and it's a bit more clunky as previously. But it was able to fly a bit better than the previous Mark 1, because in the cave he did have plenty of materials, but not enough to finish the final touches of the Mark 1. As Bell begins packing up and taking his like journals and stuff, he begins walking outside, and he hits a button on his shoulder panel. He begins flying up into the sky, and the wind on his eyes, he did put, for the Mark 1, for the eyes, he put like little protection goggles on there. And he was flying all the way to the city. But of course, it just became night because the suit's not very fast like the Mark II or the Mark III, because the Mark I's kind of clunky, as you know, guys. But when Bell Cornell reaches there, he hides in an alleyway. Now, of course, okay. The first person who says arc reactor please in his chest, I will do that. Also, I'm gonna give him Extremis, but it will be like he'll be still working on that when I get to part 4. Part 4 is when he will get Extremis, and that's what I'll tell you what his abilities are. Okay. As Cornell takes off the armor, and plus the armor is heavy as hell because he does not have like the anti-gravity tech in it because he doesn't have that much materials to work with. As he begins looking around, he begins asking around the town if he could join anyone's familia. No one could accept him. No one accepted him until a goddess named was wearing had black hair and a white kind of dress. She says, "Hello there. Would you like to join my familia?" As Bell smiles and just says, "Yes, I would like to." Now, after that, we cut to the scene to where. No, not the scene yet. As Hestia brought him to the church, and Bell looked at it and just sighed. Hestia knows, and she's like saying, "You probably leave me right as soon as he's about to say, I don't want to join." Hestia thought, and Bell says, "Well, it's better than nothing." As Hestia was surprised by this, like, "Wait, so you really will join my familia?" As Bell says, "Yeah. Why wouldn't I?" As Hestia's eyes begin to sparkle with joy and happiness. As Belle Cornell saw this, like, she reminds me of Pepper Potts. And as soon as Hestia started, like, dropped the blood on his back, her face was dumbfounded because his strength was, average, right? Other stats were all average except the one stat. Intelligence unknown, and she was like, "What the hell?" Oh, and skills, he doesn't have any skills yet, but once he gets Extremis, it will kind of count as a skill. But yeah, let's get into this. As Hestia's like, "So, I have to look about what the hell this intelligence is unknown. Probably should ask about any other gods if they know about this." And sorry guys, I just really gotta show you something. And Bill will have a certain idea in part 2, or part 3. He'll have a very, very certain idea, guys. The reason is, look at this. This is the combination of the Mark 4 and Mark 5. So this will be called the Mark 4.5. If you guys like the idea, tell me in the comment section. In a minute, I just gotta. And I forgot what the photo. There it is. As Bell begins like working on some stuff. As now we cut to where Bell is in the dungeon. He has built a little mini plasma hand, or better yet, his laser hand. I can't remember, like the plasma hand. I can't remember the gosh dang name, guys. Sorry. As the Minotaur does previously, however, Bell pushes his hand out and then aims it at the Minotaur's head and shoots it in the head, exploding it. And I saw this, and as soon as she saw that, Belle quickly took off the little mini thing, the thing that was on Belle's hand, and like throwing it away as it burnt, as the coil within it burnt. As Belle was like, well, that's a shame. I really didn't want to use my trump. I really didn't want to use that. It took me a few days to finally make that working. As Loki comes up and says, how did you do that? Not Loki. Eyes. Why would I confuse Loki with eyes? I don't know. As... I swear to gosh. Okay, I'm recording. Gotta check the battery and we're good. As Belle or as Eyes begins asking how did you do that, as I said, because if you guys did not hear that, someone just stomped on top of my, never mind, it was roof and my parents stopped it, so whatever. Well, let's get into it. As Belle looks at her, just says, oh well, it's that thing I kind of made. As Eyes like tilts her head to the left, just says, you made that? Are you with the Hephaestus familia? As Belle says, no, I'm with the Hestia familia. And she was like, Hestia? Isn't that the renounced god or goddess? As Belle was like, yeah, I'm the only member, but I really don't mind it. Of course, that's gonna think that Eyes defeated the Minotaur, which clearly everyone, as soon as Belle left, Rivia came and she just saw the Minotaur disappearing. And there was a bit of blood on Eyes' cheek, but not a lot compared to Belle. As soon as Belle walked outside, everyone began laughing at him. Belle's like, Like, this man, Belle Curdell, he knows he's better than everyone because he's smarter and more experienced than them. And he, to be honest, he faced more danger than anyone could even imagine. Oh yeah, when he gets to Mark 6, ooh. The Hammerhead drones, Belle's gonna make them for, like, test dummies or for him to, like, fight in combat. Or just drones, basically. Like, in the Iron Man 2. As Belle begins looking for Aina, as Aina's like, oh, there you are, Belle! As Belle's like, hello, as Aina's like, why are you covered up in so much blood? And Belle's like, oh, sorry, just, I kind of forgot I had this on. As Aina's like, what? And, now we cut to Belle getting back to the church. As Belle gets back to the church, he begins working on a little project. To be more precise, he's making some glasses, but these are not the normal type of glasses. It's like the armor's like HUD, like the Mark II's HUD. And when I make part 2, Jarvis will be fully like made because Belle, you should know Belle. You should know Tony Stark, guys, because he's a genius. But let's get to it. As he begins to just got finally done installing the program on the computer. Pretend it's like the computer from the 90s, like that's how old it was. It kept crashing, but as soon as I was about to say Izuku. Why would I say Izuku, guys? I wonder. As Belle puts it on, he sees the HUD. He sees like a bunch of like, it can even like go through walls, X-ray through them. Can even pick up other people's life signals. Like, it's infinite possibilities. And of course, Belle didn't make an arc reactor, but it was like the arc reactor from Iron Man 1. Like, it didn't have like the power source because Belle had to make that still. And of course, Izuku. No, why would I keep saying Izuku, guys? This guy's like yell at me in the comment section again. Like, why do you keep saying Izuku? You're doing so fine. Like in a few minutes, like Oh, and at this part, I keep saying Azuku. I'm like so used to saying that, like like giving a bell wave. Like that's how I used to write this. I am, but yeah, I'll get to it. As he begins to, let me put this way. Oh, wait, if you like noticing the volume, like why is it so like high pitch? Is because my phone, like right now, I'm like really close up to my phone as well. So I'm sorry for that, but let's get to it. As Bell also made a little thing for the Mark One, a little holding thing, like where he's like achieved like the Mark One. However, he begins like making like the thrusters and just redesigning some stuff. As soon as Hestia walks in, she just sees like a bunch of tools she's seen before because Bill's been working on them and she's been asking for past, I don't know, like for a few days, like what they are and what their purpose is. He did explain what they all were, but he was said he was building something. As he begins to like go out and just say, "So yeah, I'm going out to go get hunt some more monsters out now." As Hedge like, "Okay, Belle, but make sure you come back alive." As Belle laughs, like says, "Of course, Hes goddess." As he gets to the dungeon, he begins killing monsters like left and right. And not only that, these glasses are actually meant for combat as well. And I'll just say that it helped Bell a lot faster. It helps him a lot fight easier and more effective. It shows him where the monster's weaknesses and what the next his move will be, or his tactics. It will show him like for him. As he got done doing that, he cashes in with Ina, and Ina's like surprised that those glasses that he's wearing. That she says, "Oh, so you also wear glasses?" And Bell's like, "Well, they're actually not kind. They kind of are like glasses, but different. They're actually pretty special kind of glasses." As Ina's like, "What? How special?" As Belle's like, "Well, do you want to wear them?" As Ina's like, "Sure." As Ina takes off her glasses, and then she puts the glasses that Belle handed to her. And as soon as she puts them on, she just sees like a bunch of like stuff like says that it scans like her like the adventure like level 2 skill quick awareness. As Ina's like, Belle, as Belle's like, "Yeah, where did you get these? Is this a magic item?" As Belle's like, "Nope, I built that." As Ina's like trying not to freak out, because if she was freaking out right now, she would probably attract a lot of attention to Belle. As Ina's like, "Well, why? How did you make this?" As Belle's like, with I made that with just only like about like one like $30." And she says 30 Valis. As Belle's like, "Yep." As Ina's like, "How?" As Belle's like, I'm like smarter than I look." As Ina gives him back the glasses. As Ina puts her glasses on, she like noses like, "Whoa, those." As Ina's like, "Whoa, those glasses are really much more better. I can even see them clearly than my glasses." As Belle's like, "If you want, I could make you a pair, but I'm gonna try to copy like the same kind of glasses that you are wearing, so people don't notice that it's kind of it's different." As Lena says, "Sure." As Belle gets to the tavern, and as there's a lucky familiar entering in, and begins like, as Belle begins eating like the fish that Mamma Mia like gave him. As Bet begins like talking smack about Belle, and Belle like simply just ignores it. As Eyes looks to like sees like the white-haired kid like just ignoring him. As Belle says thank you and he begins leaving. As then Bet points to Belle and just says like, "There you are, little coward." It's pretty funny that that Eyes had to save you. As Belle looks to him and just says, "I really don't care." As Bet's like what? As Belle just points to him and just says, "I really don't care about if I was saved or not. It was your guys' fault that a Minotaur went to lower floors. And not only that, you guys you guys' reputation, you guys should have focused on none of the Minotaurs escaping. As Bet's kind of pissed off at this, but Finn stops him because Finn knows he's about to punch him in the face, but Finn says, Bet, he has a point. It was our fault. As Bet's like, you don't really, you're not actually taking the side of this little newbie, right? As Finn's like, no, I'm not. Yes, I'm taking the side because he has a point, Bet. We were the ones at fault. And it doesn't seem right to knock someone who didn't let the Minotaurs out. As Bet like just says, whatever, he's not worth it anyway. He sits back down. As Bo begins leaving, as Eyes was like, when she looked at him, he was like so composed, and he did not even hesitate to point out the reason why he was saved, even though that Eyes didn't save him. He saved himself. As Eyes begins like going out to like wondering where he was like gone, like in a flash. As soon as he gets back to the church, he starts building the materials he got and paid for. They just arrived on the same date where the lucky family just got to their tavern. As all you could hear was building. And of course, you guys know me pretty well. Give me a minute. I'm trying to find it. Here it is. He begins working on this. If I'm judging this correctly, this much more improved of the Mark II. Of course, Bell now begins to, how should I put this? He begins to, give me a minute. He begins to test it. He did make a camera, but it's pretty shitty. I was like, okay, 3, 2, as the little drone just like blowing on, like pointing the extinguisher, which Bell made, was like, okay, that did not go as planned. Ugh. As Bell gets up and's like, well, it's time for more improvements then. as 3 days later, Bell made this like, okay, well, it's working! Woo! First time he's testing it. Not first time, like second time. As Bell's like, whew. Oh. Yeah, I can fly now. As Bell's like, you know what? Fuck it. As Cornell begins like saying, Jarvis, you there? I'm online, sir. Everything seems to be in order, sir. Programming at 100%. As Bell says, good. Now, suit me up. Very well, sir. Gosh dang, where is that? I'm looking for the GF. I'm sorry, guys. Here it is. Weapons online, sir. Calibration complete. Calibrating lower legs now. Calibration is all complete now, sir. Jarvis. Yes, sir. What do you need? Going in. As Bell does this, Bell's like, everything's operating at 100% capacity, sir. Good. Now, let's test this suit out. As Jarvis like, but sir, there are still tests that we need to run on this, and we still do not know the dangers of just using. As Bell Cornell's like, Jarvis, you can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs. As Bell begins, gosh dang it, where is it? Sorry guys, I'm just looking for something. I know if I'm wasting your time, but tell me. I had it. I swear to gosh. Here. No, that's not it. There it is. Woo! As he says. And oh my goodness, like, oh, whoa, woo! Got fun. Gosh dang, GF. Give me a minute, guys. I know, like, who cares? Just get on the damn story. Like, whoa, okay. I remember this being a lot more, as Bell's like, I remember this being a lot more dangerous. As Bell's like, Jarvis, let's go up. As Bell Bean's going up, and he just remembered something. He's like, I forgot that the Mark II does not have the little paint that stops me from freezing up. As Bell begins falling out of the sky, like, whoa, Jarvis, we need to break the ice. As Bell's like, oh, come on, why do I keep forgetting this? As Bell begins quickly reaching out for the brakes, he deploys them just on time. As he begins like, okay, there you go, Jarvis. As everyone in the Loki familia left the bar, and they just got back to the manor, and all of them just see this. They just see him flying. As Rivia uses a spell that enhances one's vision or their sight. She just sees this. She sees a person wearing silver-like armor and flying. But that is where I'm going to be ending it off. However, the new Iron Mark III. If you guys like it, tell me in the comment section. Now, thank you so much for enjoying. If you didn't, then leave. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to y'all in part 2. Maybe. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'll see you all in my next one. Goodbye.